Here's the summary of day 3 then. My wife said these videos are really boring, but I didn't put them out there to entertain anyone. They're out there to try and help anyone that comes up against the same issue that I did. There's no resources on the internet for a DIY person looking to undertake this task by themselves. You'll save yourself a fortune. It's a really simple task. If you've got a few days and 1 or 2 helpers, any reasonably competent person could carry this out. It doesn't need to be done by professionals. Don't let them scare you off. This is the corner that I've mentioned in the previous videos and promised I'd give a little shot. You can see where the new roof is intersecting with an existing bay window there on the living room, and so we had to kind of work around that and adapt as we went. This is the underside originally with the old conservatory roof. There was an internal box gutter there which did leak with the old roof, and everyone tried to steer me away from a box gutter, and I'm glad I did. So we're going to create a valley on the top of that, and you can see this is just with the membrane down. I didn't have at the time the valley trough and the necessary pieces of the tiles to make the valley work neatly, so this was just temporary to keep it dry. So now we're getting the eaves guard onto the roof. It's just like a little drip tray that sits down into the gutters. Goes on nicely. It fits on almost without any help, but we put a few screws in just to keep that located, and now we're getting onto the membrane, which didn't hold down so well. We tried taping it, we tried stapling it. The staples wouldn't go through that outer PVC layer on those top boards. They were just kind of bouncing back because I guess it's got too much compression on the foam underneath it to get any traction on that. So we got a load of really short, like 10mm screws. I say a load, we got a small handful actually, just to tack a few in so that it would hold it down from this wind. And the wind seemed to be picking up. It was coming down the left side of the house, and you could see it was just getting underneath the membrane quite quickly. We did then figure out where we had dried the roof. That had not helped us, because actually the damp part of the roof was making the membrane a little bit damp, just enough to kind of hold it in place. And so where we'd used the towel on the first part to dry it off, the membrane was really quite slippery. But yeah, we just worked our way around. This is just temporary holding it in. There you go, the wind's taking the whole thing away. We'll try again, use body weight to try and keep it down this time. But this is just a temporary fix just until we get the roof tiles on, which will be holding the membrane onto those boards anyway. So you'll see now we'll just come back around the other side. We put the starter trim up against the back wall of the house there, and we're sealing that with can't remember what the name of the sealant is, but it's like a roof and gutter sealant that never completely cures, so it's always it's always still a bit pliable and soft. Just used a generous amount of that on both surfaces. We're getting on with the tiles. This is a Britmet shingle tile sheet, so you can see it's like four or five tiles in one sheet. Makes it kind of quick and easy and pretty straightforward to get on there. We'll come back and we'll do a few adjustments, but any adjustments you need to be done, you can tin snips, angle grinder, pretty easy to work with. We used 4 fixings per tile sheet. I think we're obviously sealing back against that back wall again there. That's the only thing slowing us down, that starter tray. Yeah, we're just working our way back up to there. A couple of them just needed a little bit of straightening. They came in big heavy packs. These tiles, when they were in the cardboard packs, they really added up to some weight. A couple of the corners got a little bit bent over, but we were able to easily straighten those. So as we work our way up to the ridge, we do just make our way across the roof. Once I finally get all the mating faces up against the back wall of the house sealed on. Unfortunately, I'm not a very good cameraman, so I'm not giving you the best shot of all of that. But here you can see this is our last tile, which we just cut a little bit short, just so we have plenty of space for the ridge cap to fit down onto. So now we're working away in the opposite corner, which you can't see. Unfortunately, I didn't change the view of the camera, but we're trying to just work with the tiles over in that awkward corner to get them ready for the valley there, and then we're going to go start in on the bottom right hand corner because of how they overlap, and then we'll be working our way back towards the corner. So we're just starting with those drip trays again, sealing those up. We'll show in a later video there are some barge board covers that go on the gable end. There's specific ridge caps that go across the top to make it fairly neat and straightforward. You use a PVC block, like a 25 mil square spacer block that is screwed down onto the top of those tiles that meet up to the ridge, and then you screw the ridge cap into that PVC block. The fabricator also supplied as an extra additional step on top of the Leka instructions with some of the expanding foam tape, which just helped to not have any exposed white PVC block when you look up at the ridge, but just to fully seal that as well. So that was quite helpful. You can see us just making our way across there. So I'm making my way up the roof. At the same time, my friend there is just trimming a few where they're going to meet the valley. Again, because we didn't have the valley trough at the time, we were kind of trimming them as to our best guess. So you know, we took some measurements and made a straight line there, but it does need a little bit of further adjustment afterwards. Luckily left enough length and left some to spare, but we need to go back, and easy to draw a straight line along these. Either come up and you could just go from top to bottom with some tin snips, or bottom to top with some tin snips, or you could just work your way with an angle grinder. But that's the main bit of the roof tiled for the day. Just the ridge cap and the barge boards to go on to finish the tiling part of it. This kind of shows you where we got to with that valley, so you can see where, although I don't have a valley tray or a valley trough there yet, you can see that we've cut those tiles at approximately the right angle and the right length. Probably have to trim that back a bit more. I put in some of these extra photos internally. There were some questions about why I wasn't using any roof ties at the top, and that is because we specified this tie wire instead, which gives us more of the kind of full vaulted ceiling without having a flat section at the top. So the structural engineer was happy that one tie wire was more than enough, and I've just included here to show you how it fixes onto the end. It has a metal reinforcement plate that goes inside the rafter, so you're not reliant on this just screwing into the GRP essentially. And there you can just see that tie wire that just intersects just one of them. So I think that was a great solution, and I was we were happy with that suggestion from the fabricator. In the next video I'll show you some of the external trimming, fascia boards, guttering, how I got on with some more of that PVC work. Really quite straightforward, and you'll see that in many other videos anyway.